my name is Nicola Castelnuovo. I'm the co-founder of a company called Crowdo. Crowdo is a neobank for SME, small, medium-sized enterprises in emerging market. I mean, the definition of neobank is it's basically a digital bank platform that offers a powerful set of banking services to businesses, and they try to make this offer as much as possible integrated with the businesses' day-to-day activity. Our value proposition is really to enable the full digitalization of SME supply chain through one platform where they can make order, issue invoice, make purchase order, in general manage their customer, get fast access to financial product, to credit. Everything is delivered via an intuitive user interface at a very competitive rate. To align our understanding, our clients are SMEs in emerging market, which means those are companies which employees ranging between 10 to 1,000, and annual revenue ranging between a few $100,000 to about 30-40 million, and this is across different industry sectors. Our main operation we are in 3 countries, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, but the main operation are split between Indonesia and Malaysia. So when we look at an emerging market economy, what you notice is that in terms of digital transformation, all the consumer-facing activity already being highly digitalized. If you think consumer, even in emerging market, they can more or less do everything digitally. You know, they can do shopping, they can move money, they can order, travels and food. But if you look at the part of the economy which actually brings all the product and services to the front end, to the customer, which is basically what is called supply chain, is actually still highly manual or very poorly digitalized. And this is basically all the company that go from raw material or basic or human capital to the final product that you find in your e-commerce platform, right? During this unprecedented time of COVID, especially during the lockdown period, what came to light is that only company that some kind of digitalization of their supply chain managed to survive or to keep operating or to thrive in this new normal, right? So everybody now is realizing that the digitalization of this part of the economy is not longer optional, but is a mandatory step to bring the entire country economy to a more digitalized stage. So how important is this? How important are these SME space? Well, if you look at emerging market, the SMEs are the driving force of the economy of this emerging country, right? They constitute about 99% of the businesses incorporated. They are the larger contributor to the respective country GDP. Actually, they are, for example, in Indonesia, more than 80% of the employees work for SMEs, right? Although it's a very important sector, banks and in general large corporates, they neglected the SME space for many years, and mostly because I believe that they failed to find the right balance between efficiently serving the SMEs while delivering the right quality service that the SMEs they require, right? When you talk to the SMEs, you realize that, especially in emerging market, the majority of them are not digitalized. They are not digital at all, but they actually recognize the importance of being digital, right? And the majority of them, or almost for 50% of them, they're ready to switching their, for example, in our space, their banking partner, their primary banking partner, to work with someone who helping them to move higher in the digitalization path, right? So our value proposition to them is articulated in 3 main areas. One is a digital supply chain platform. And it's really a platform where they can basically run their daily operation, which is basically sending and receiving invoice, sending and receiving PO, making payment, making bank transfer through a digital platform. We offer them a 100% digital bank account that they can use to all their transactions. And we also them access to all the typical banking products, which is their credit line, payment services, and so on. Now, every time we enter in the new market, we always look at this market, obviously from many angles, right? From microeconomics data, from employment, from infrastructure, but also from digital culture, right? So when we look at the emerging market digital culture situation, we find out something quite interesting. One, what we notice is that the workforce are usually very digital people at the end. Again, these are people that are very accustomed to use e-commerce application, to get the food delivered, to book transportation, travel online, to make payment, to consume news or content, everything online. So the workforce, or the people in general, they're actually very high in terms of digitalization culture, right? On the other hand, when you look at the businesses are extremely low. It's not close to zero in terms of digitalization. In emerging market, a lot of the business is still paper-based, right? Most of the payment are made by cash. A lot of the delivery, exchanging in messages are done through, on paper and through courier. All the document, all the transactions are archived on paper, on cardboard. Most of them, they don't have dedicated IT team, and surprising enough, a lot of them, even company with tens of $millions of annual revenue, they have no website, right? So when we look at a situation like this, we say, well, okay, this could be an opportunity, because we have basically businesses which has no legacy at all in terms of IT system or digital presence, therefore very easy to build on. And whereas the people that work there, they're very digital savvy, right? So it should be pretty easy to onboard them and get them on board and enter. I want to share what are the three key findings that we find in our journey to enter a new country and onboard and convert to the digitalization world of all these SMEs. So the first rule that it's a must is you need to keep it simple in order to win your audience. And there are some key factors. One is user experience. I think it was mentioned in one of the presentations before. The user experience expectations are set by consumer app or consumer behavior. So people expect to find the same type of user experience even in B2B or business-related digital application, right? And what does it mean? It means basically that some, for example, consumer app, they're very, very light in terms of data entry. It's all based on choices, right? It's all very heavy in terms of visual assets. It's all very short in terms of processes, right? Few clicks to get the results. So people working for company in emerging market, they expect the same level of simplicity in any type of digital application they need to use for business. The second is about processes, right? SMEs, they're not process-oriented company, right? They are result-oriented company. It's very different for people that come from large corporate, large financial institution, which is a lot about process optimization, productivity. For SMEs, it's all about results, right? So even when we talk about digital transformation, the digital use case has to be very short. You need to, if you have very complicated workflow, it has to be broken down in very small steps with very early achievable results. Then there is a bit about technology. At the beginning, we misunderstood that what we learned is that being a digital person doesn't mean that you are a techie person, right? So for SMEs, technology, for SMEs in emerging market, technology still sees as a costly overhead, right? They don't see yet the benefit of changing their business to move into the digital era because they just see it as a costly overhead. For the people working for SMEs, the employees, technology come across as an unwanted complication, right? So you need to look at very light digital infrastructure, very fast installation, very easy to maintain solution, right? The second rule is about focus on the upside. right? So some of the key value drivers that SMEs will respond positively to are things like time saving, cost reduction, increased client, increased revenue. So whatever contribute to the top or bottom line of the company is very well received. On the other end, value drivers like data security, system reliability, process optimization, productivity are really not really considered as a top priority for this company. So everything you try to pitch digital solution which are meant to be risk mitigation solution or downside protection or some kind of optimization exercise usually is a difficult sell. The third rule is about being fast, right? Time is money, mostly for everyone, especially for business owner. So, but if you look at company, they have 100, 200, or even 500 employees. In general, they have very limited resources, employees to dedicate to projects which are not revenue generating. This means that even for digital transformation project, you need to have a very short implementation time, very fast go to market type of deployment, and very short analysis or a design phase. The other thing is everybody wants to look at very short-term results, right? So again, and this goes back for SMEs. The business horizon of SMEs usually are very short, are within their fiscal year, right? So everything they do or they invest on then has to deliver value within the fiscal year, right? So the same, you need to come up with project or digital platform or digital transformation project that can deliver results in a very short term, right? And this could be very, very minor results. Don't get me wrong. There is a much easier selling point if you have multiple small results in a very short term than a very big goal or big bang at the end, right? I'll give you an example. I was debating with some of our clients, like middle management position, on why digitalized documents, sending document through digital platform with the electronic signature, it's better than not just have the paper sign and pass it over to a courier who takes a motorbike and deliver to the client, right? And they had valid point. From her point of view, the way it was working, it was actually much more convenient and efficient than not go log into a system, get the OTP to apply digital signature and so on and so forth. So being able to deliver small results also to people at the middle level within the company is very important to bring the entire company digital culture to a good place. Lastly, this is a bit specific for us, but for companies who are into digital transformation, but they are in a sector who are regulated by the authority, like we are. I want to share some of our learning about working with with the regulatory agents. So our company, we have banking license in Singapore, in Malaysia, and Indonesia. So we work with mostly all the regulatory agency in Southeast Asia. So first of all, the digital innovation agenda. So the digital innovation is at the top of the agenda of all the regulatory agency in this part of the world. They understand the contribution of digital transformation to the economy, and they're really keen to support companies involved in digital transformation. In general, regulators, they adopted a very pro-business approach. So it means that they support a lot of innovative campaign through, for example, initiative like sandbox, registration period, license exclusion grants. So they make in the position for trusted company to operate even before getting to a place where there is a proper license or regulatory framework in place. We found very, very useful, especially if you are in an innovative industry, to organize and create industry association and to talk with the regulatory agents through the association. What you do, you bring a united voice to speak with the authorities or with the government, and that gives a lot of leverage. At the end of the day, company like us in the financial industry, we really welcome all the new regulatory framework, because we believe that a regulatory framework it's a sign. Well, a regulatory framework that find the right balance between promoting the business but also protecting the consumer, I think is a mandatory step to claim that the industry is mature enough. And that's it for me.